Empire of the Suns.
I'm Kevin Zimmerman. This is Kellen Olson. We are the Empire of the Suns, Suns writers and ArizonaSports.com editors. Suns have a free agency ahead of them. I don't think LeBron's coming, so after that, it's not looking great either.
It's kind of a mixed group, and the most fascinating part of this entire free agent period, besides, of course, where does LeBron go, does Kawhi get traded, is how much money are these guys going to make? Because if we look at salary cap space across the league, not a lot of teams have it, and there aren't even teams that have, like the Suns have a lot of space technically, but they have to get rid of Allen Williams to do that. They might have to get rid of Tyler Ulis, Shaquille Harrison, Davon Reed. After they get rid of all those guys, they have around 17.5, so even then, it's not a lot of space. And what we're wondering is that we're looking at names like Marcus Smart and saying he's going to want $12 to $14 million. How much is he actually going to get, though? It's kind of hard to tell. The first deals we see on July 1st should be indicative, because if there are guys just taking $8 to $9 million a year, just taking like 3 and 27 and saying, yeah, that's fine, then that might show that the Suns actually might be able to get a quality name or two, but the market's going to dictate it.
That market obviously is created 2 years ago. The salary cap jumped. Lots of teams overspent. The Suns haven't spent the last 2 summers, so they're in a good spot from that perspective. But like you said, who knows what's going to happen? And then when you look at the class, their needs are point guard, power forward. And if you look at the point guard and power forwards in this class, it's not a great group of guys. You could have Avery Bradley. He's coming off an injury. Maybe he's on a decent deal that's not too pricey. Patrick Beverley's a guy who might be on the trade market and might be waived by the Clippers. They're trying to make a lot of moves. So those are just a few point guard options.
Beverley comes up a lot just because he lands in that middle ground where these guys are either too pricey and they don't fit specifically what we want, kind of like Marcus Smart, where you're like, well, he's one of the worst shooters to ever play in the NBA, and that's not what you want to put next to Devin Booker. And you look at a guy like Avery Bradley, and it's like, well, how much are you actually getting out of him from a contribution in terms of a veteran? Because the guys the Suns are going to sign in this period, they're not going to be the guy that comes in as the first best, even the second best, or maybe even the third best player on the team. You're looking at guys like Trevor Ariza, like Thaddeus Young, and Derek Favors, and those names are expected to be expensive. And the question is, how much do the Suns want to spend on that name? And if they don't want to spend, you're looking at names like Ersan Ilyasova. You're looking at maybe Rajon Rondo on a cheaper deal. You're looking at maybe Dante Exum on a restricted deal that you could perhaps get cheap if Utah's in a bind. Do they want to pay money for someone like Fred VanVleet is kind of my question, because I think he's a starting caliber NBA point guard. He can shoot, he can defend, and that's really all you want next to Devin Booker. He's a little undersized, doesn't have much upside at his age, despite him just recently coming into the league. But that's a guy I would look for them to be aggressive with. But the question is if they will be, or do they just want to maintain flexibility because of how meh this class is?
The crazy thing is they've been talking about, all right, we're ready to win now, but when you want to win now, do you go after those young guys who are part of this young core that's DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, Josh Jackson? That would be like a VanVleet. That's his age, that's his profile. Or do you maybe look at guys like Bradley who are going to be cheap, that aren't going to have super long-term deals? And then if you go to Exum, for example, do you take a risk on a restricted free agent where the Utah Jazz could match? And if you got him, you have him too long, maybe if he doesn't pan out. And then next year, his teammate Ricky Rubio's on the market, and he's only 27 right now, so maybe you just want to save that money, look to next summer.
Well, just now as we're recording, Thad Young exercised his player option, which is worth around $13 million. The thought wasn't, of course, that he was going to decline the player option, looks to get paid for like $15 million a year. The thought was get like 3 years, $30 million, $33 million, get some long-term salary committed. He took a while to make his decision, and from him deciding to opt in, it sounds like we could be heading towards what we talked about at the start of the video, which is there might not be a lot of money out there, and that's a really good thing for the Suns, because then they could add 2 quality pieces. Like someone like Trevor Ariza is maybe looking to make like $9 to $12 million a year. He might just have to take like 5 to 7. We really don't know until we know, and that's really the fascinating thing about the wait here for the next couple of days.
Look at that, breaking news helping us out as we record this. I'm Kevin Zimmerman. This is Kellen Olson. Thanks for listening.
98.7 FM, Arizona's sports station.